to another episode of Ebony Ladies in the DR. I'm your host, Bridget. Today, I have with me, guys, you know I've been having special guests. So I have another special guest in the house, my dad, Mr. Washington. Thank you for being here, Daddy.
You're welcome.
All right, and so today we are just asking a question because everybody wants to know how families feel about their kids living in a foreign country, living in the Dominican Republic. So two questions today from my dad. That's it. First question is, so what were your initial thoughts when we said we're moving to the Dominican Republic?
Well, I didn't have any problem with it because I always say that there were better places for a black person to live than in the United States.
I agree. Especially with everything that's going on now. So I know you feel that way now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And everybody, you know, people are going to have their comments about where there's racism in the Dominican Republic. But there's a different level of racism that we as black people experience in the United States. So it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. And so when we said that we were going to move, I tell everybody this, you always had the best questions. You asked me, what was the population? I didn't know. You asked me, how was the crime rate? You know, other than just like little things, pickpockets, thieves, you know, things that happen at the resort. I never really knew what the true crime rate and the statistics were. I knew that they didn't have guns like we do here in the United States. So I felt really good having your support. So definitely, you know, it made everything a little bit easier. Just knowing that we have family that supported us, right? So now I told everybody on the last episode or on the past episode that it's really important, you know, to have the support of your families. Of course, everybody's an adult, but it just makes it that much easier when your family does support the move. Okay, so now you've been to the Dominican Republic. You were there in 19 for our 25-year wedding anniversary, and you were there for 2 weeks. So now, since it's been a year later, how do you feel about us moving there? What are your thoughts?
I think it was a good move, and if I was 20 years younger, I would do the same thing.
Wow, see? Okay, so that's what, you know, I tell everybody. So my dad is 71. He retired at regular legal retirement age, 62? So my dad retired at 62. So he said if he had been 20 years younger, so that's telling you right there that you don't have to wait and put everything on hold till you reach that legal retirement age, because he was financially able to do it in his 50s, but chose not to because American society says we work to 62, we work to 65. But that's not how it has to be. So, because everybody's not as fortunate to be in shape like you are at 71 and work on cars and move around and do your own lawn. So you got to take advantage of the years that you have, you know? So that's the main thing. And so tell everybody, how did you like the Dominican Republic? What do you think about it?
I liked it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the stay. So I would say to anybody thinking about moving down there, go for it.
Yeah, all right. So that's it. You know, you got to hear it. We wanted to get a share with you everybody's point of view in our life. So you'll be hearing from more of our family, more of our friends later on, different episodes. But I want to thank my daddy, you know, for always supporting us, always having an open mind, and just being always willing to share his thoughts and ask the hard questions to make us really think, you know, about what we were doing. So that's what he did for us. So I just want to say thank you. I love you. Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome, and I love you.
Thank you. So everybody, don't forget, tune in right here, YouTube, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we are out, and talk to you soon. Today, everybody, we have a very, very, very special guest in the house with us today. My sister, Brown. Older sister, Brown. So, welcome and thank you for doing the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, you know what you got to look forward to, Cameron. So today, we did a show about everything that we missed back in the United States, and number one on everybody's list was family. So we're happy to introduce you to a little bit of our family here on the show. So today, I'm going to ask my sister the question that everybody's been asking us. So how did your family react when you said we're moving to the Dominican Republic? So what was your response? What were your actual real thoughts, and then what was your actual response?
Well, my actual real thought was that if it's in your head and it's in Davlin's head, it's going to happen, right? So I just had to prepare myself that you all were going to leave, right?
Yeah.
And so, we don't want to step on other people's dreams. And a lot of times my feelings were all selfish. Concerned, will everything be okay? Will we be able to get to them if they need us for something? So that was my first concern. And then my second concern was, not concern, but my second thought was excitement.
Yeah.
Because, who doesn't want to, for real, live a dream? And if it's your dream to retire early to a more exotic location where your quality of life is different and your lifestyle is different, then if we're friends and family that love and support you, we want that for you, if that's what you want for yourself.
Sure. Thank you. So that's why I told everybody. One thing we were lucky to have was you, Mama, Daddy, those three people. The three of y'all were our biggest support systems, because each one of you all came with the hard questions. This is what if.
Yes.
What if? So, by having you always saying that made us ask ourselves, okay, what if that happened? I didn't think about that. Or what would we do? I didn't think about that. So that's what you really want. You want honest people around you, people that love you, people that care to ask you the questions. And so I know this is a question I really want to ask, but especially during this time. But now it's a little bit over a year later. We're here. And so what are your thoughts on us now moving to the Dominican Republic?
Well, my thoughts now, the main thought is that you all seem happy and content. And that's really what the realization of a goal, of a dream is supposed to look like, right? Yeah. Are there challenges and concerns? Sometimes that's just how life goes.
Right, yeah.
But for the most part, I know I can speak a little bit for my mom and for my dad. The most important thing is that you all seem happy, and that's all that we could wish for you.
Right.
That's it. That's the big and small of it. Did the what ifs get irritating? Yeah, I got irritated with myself. Like, I don't want to seem like I'm dampening the spirit.
Right.
But, as a big sister, I feel like my responsibility is ask somebody the questions that I would want someone to ask me. Right?
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that what I'm doing makes complete sense, that I'm not just making a feel good decision. It needs to make sense, because when a decision makes sense to the people that love you, they can kind of release a little bit of what they're holding on to in terms of their own personal anxiety. So for me, that the what ifs, every what if get me closer and closer to peace. Absolute peace.
I think so. Definitely peace. Mm-hmm. So I know now, everybody know that we've been quarantining here in Memphis due to the pandemic. And so a main concern has been, it was a what if this continues longer and longer, then what would you all do? So do you feel like now that it was still a good decision, or that was like, ew, are y'all sure y'all should have moved to another country?
So, clearly those are questions that a rational person would ask, right? So definitely. I know at Father's Day, was it Father's Day? Not Father's Day, whatever, Mother's Day. Mother's Day. We were on the deck, and then you all had just found out that your travel was canceled or postponed again.
Another 25 days.
Right? So my what ifs are, girl, when y'all gonna put this house on the market? When are you all gonna realize that if this is the first pandemic and you are now this many months from getting home,
right?
Are we really, really thinking about what might have to happen, right? That's again not to dampen the dream, not to dampen the spirit, or rain on anyone's parade, but there is knowledge and as much information and power and advanced decision making as there can be, right? But is everything going to work out in our minds exactly the way that we think they are? It's just not going to happen. So I have to realize that my what ifs are simply a tool. I can put it there and I can have you discuss it. Now, has it made it that much more challenging for me to get behind the whole I live in Punta Cana? A little bit, because the quarantine to me is the first challenge that you have had. Definitely. And man, it really threw a monkey wrench in everybody's plans, right? Life. We are thankful that you all are on this side of the U.S. with the quarantine, because honestly, we're happier having you all here, because that would have been an extra level of stress, absolute stress, not knowing how we can help you. And if there is anything that you're not telling us that perhaps we need to be doing to help you, right? Okay. But for me, this has just been another opportunity to say, okay, what if? What if the next situation is more dire than this one? Right. So then I just want to know that you all are thinking about what could potentially be next on the horizon in this journey, because journeys don't stop. They are continuing to evolve. So if this journey, retirement in the Dominican Republic, has to have a shift in focus, I just want to know that you all are comfortable in shifting your focus and redirecting retirement to wherever else. But just be mindful that, you know, a pandemic is a very real thing, and we didn't think we would see one at this age of our lives, but we have. And so who's to say what's next? Right.
Yeah. And I understand that. So with the journey evolving and with the taking a different course, that's why our main goal when we said we're moving to the Dominican Republic was to put down roots, to buy our home, to get stability, and then get citizenship. So had we been Dominican citizens and not just residency, then we would have a Dominican passport. So when they first closed the border to non-residents, we would have been a resident, we would have been able to go home, and we would have been there dealing with it and quarantine at our own home. But because we don't hold Dominican citizenship yet, then we weren't able to get in. And so that's a very real thing, to be locked out of what you call home, because Dominican Republic is what we call home now. That's where our house is, where all of our stuff is, you know. But we're very fortunate that we were able to be here with our family, who's welcomed us, made us at home, even though we feel like we have overstayed our welcome. But it's a real thing. And Dominic and I, people know us, we are quick to say, okay, well, this didn't work, so where to next? You know, I'm not afraid to say and not, you know, worry about what other people are thinking. You can't live your life that way. If it doesn't work out, if something changes for us in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you can believe. You don't have to worry about us staying somewhere to save face or to prove to people how happy you can be and all of this kind of stuff. We'll be like, well, we tried it, we love each other for doing it and stepping out, and we had the courage, but no, it doesn't work. So we'll move on. But like you said, it's a journey that's going to always be evolving. Just because we've retired and planted roots there for now, that doesn't mean that's where she dig up trees all the time and move them. So I can tell you, we are in that same path. If this doesn't work for us, then we'll pack up and move. But for now, it's working, and we're happy. And so that's why I tell everybody, make sure you have the support system and everything in place before you move. So now you are a worldly person. You've traveled all over the world.
We just had a whole conversation on what worldly means.
World.
So I think she means sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Now
we're not worldly.
Okay. Sophisticated traveler, very educated traveler. So now with everything that's going on with us as Black Americans in the United States, and I people think I'm saying run, leave the United States. I understand this is our country as well. Especially probably more so than others because we built the majority of this world. So, but as a Black American, do you think you would ever consider moving abroad?
Once upon a time, I thought that maybe I would do that, right? I could see myself by a sea with the basket and, the bicycle and the fresh fruit and different boyfriends along the way. I mean, that's all very appealing and very attractive, right? Now I see my journey more in pockets of time, right? There's so many places I want to explore that I can see 3 months here, 6 months there, and always have my base in the United States where as long as my mom and dad are still alive and here, then making sure that I can get to them quickly and not be too far away right now, right? But for sure, I want to experience parts of the world where I am valued and I am seen as a Black woman and where I am welcomed. And for me, a recent journey was to Portugal, and that feeling I want to capture in as many pockets of the world as I possibly can. But I want to be valued. I want people to understand whether I'm here in this country, which I feel is absolutely mine, or anywhere else in the world. I want people to understand emphatically this Black life matters, and wherever I am, I want to be treated like that. So right now, for me, it starts at ground zero, and establishing the fact that nobody is going to run me away. And retirement for me will look a little bit different than for you all, because right now this is retirement in lovely home in Memphis, near my family, and it will continue to evolve as you all, I'm sure, will as well.
Yeah,
it's a journey, and that's the most fun part of it.
Yeah, and now I have to go back. So when we were getting ready to move, the what if she sent a email sending with a link saying, Black people, Dominicans don't like Black people. So and she's like, why would you all want to move there? And since we've been there, we haven't experienced any of that. There's colorism, not so much blatant racism like it is in the United States. But the time that you were there in the Dominican Republic, did you have that feeling or that energy that Dominicans didn't like Black Americans?
Not at all. I did not feel that at all. I felt immediately at home because, if you're being 100% honest, Black people that visit Black islands, there's a level of comfort.
Yes.
And the people at the island will say, hey, we're so happy to have, Black tourists or whatever, people that look like us enjoying our home, right? But my concern with that article, and the reason that it troubled me at the time, is because it reeked of what continues to happen here in the United States with number 45 as it relates to immigrants, right? So just to refresh for people who aren't familiar with the article, it said that the president of the Dominican Republic was absolutely trying to make people establish
residency,
that they were citizens, that they did not have to leave this country because they couldn't establish citizenship with passports and legal documents. Well, you know what? Life does not always unfold that way.
Right.
It's just like here in the United States. There are many, many dreamers that people are familiar with, the Dreamers Act, but there are many dreamers who are trying to be forced out of this country. So my concern was, hey, if they are doing this to their own Dominican people, you are not going to be a priority in that country.
Right.
So that was my concern. It's always a place of love and just making sure that there are no needless barriers or roadblocks, right?
That's it.
But absolutely, I felt right at home, as I do when I'm in Jamaica, I'm in Bahamas, I'm wherever there is an island with people of color, I feel home.
Right.
And so I absolutely get it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, well, you know, we're always talking about, trying to educate people on moving abroad, Dominican Republic or wherever your choice is. You got to do your homework. Absolutely. You have to do the research. You have to know what's going on in that country legally, how long you can stay there, if you plan to establish residency or citizenship. So we knew going in that we were making that home. So we want to hold 2 passports to be able to come back and forth. So if anything with 45 changes, you know, and they don't want to have a relationship with the U.S. again, then we could possibly get locked out until we get that passport. So those are all very, very valid points, very important things that you have to consider when moving abroad. This has been great. I want to thank my sister so much for coming on and being on the show. Brown is a YouTuber as well, and is advanced by Brown, but it's backstage with Brown. It's Backstage with Brown YouTube channel. We're gonna put the information up there so you can go back and see some past videos if you're in the Memphis area or surrounding area, because she does travel, and you want your event covered, or your person that has something interesting to say, because she is a little bit pickier than I am with the guests. I welcome everybody to your Ebony Ladies in the DI, but you know, she would love to hear your point of view as well. But I thank you for always giving the hard questions, you know, asking Devlin and I to force us to ask ourselves, you know, what are we going to do? How are we going to plan? Have a goal, have our steps to lay it out and do everything that we need to do. But that's what, you know, we're here for. Ebony Ladies in the DI is to educate you on being black abroad. You know, not just in the United States, okay? But thank you all for joining us. Again, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And again, we will see you soon.